SloMoBackSlap here, slapping you with another video. Today we're going to discuss some new information that has come out about Dragon Age the Veilguard and its gameplay and skill trees. BioWare had an interview with Game Informer the other day, and although this interview revealed a lot of spoilers that we won't get into, it did provide information that may answer questions which have been the center of many hot button discussions about this game over the past week. Mainly, is this game tactical enough? Is this game a button mashing jamboree? And more importantly, will Veilguard feel like a Dragon Age game? So before we get into the weeds with this one, hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more content on the Dragon Age the Veilguard in the future. It is one of the games I will be covering on this channel, and you can look forward to news updates, analysis, and likely live streams of the previous Dragon Age games leading up to the launch of the Veilguard. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, I'll start first with the gameplay, which if you're a Dragon Age fan and played all the games, you would have noticed that the gameplay reveal from last week looked very similar to how combat was done in Dragon Age 2. Not the most popular of Dragon Age games. I liked it. I know quite a few didn't, and that's fine. People who dislike Dragon Age 2 disliked it for either one or two reasons or both: redundant environments and a complete change in direction when it came to combat. Now, Dragon Age Origins, the previous Dragon Age game before Dragon Age 2, was very much a CRPG on PC, and although the UI and implementation of the game was different on consoles, it provided the same type of combat experience. Dragon Age 2 was different. Clearly, combat was far simpler, less tactical, leaned heavily on action, as the player was required to control all party member actions of the character they were in control over and not merely just give instructions. The Veilguard appears to be doing much of the same and also implementing elements of control we see from other games. Light and heavy attacks have been confirmed. Dash, parry, and charge moves will be at your disposal. The dash and parry were also prominently displayed in the gameplay reveal. And additionally, you'll be able to attack, pause your attack combinations by dashing, and then resuming them again. Granted, you'll probably need to make sure that you aren't hit in between any of that. Warrior and Rogue classes can parry, but Rogue will have a longer parry window. There is no parry for mages, which is kind of a disappointment to me considering parry was implemented very well in Hogwarts Legacy's combat, but mages will be able to throw up magic shields as long as they have the mana available. Warriors using the shield sword combat can throw their shield and fight with the sword exclusively if they choose. And there will be attack finishers, which isn't really new to the series anyway. You will be able to build weapon loadouts for Rook and all the companions, which will allow you to switch these loadouts on the fly in combat. This will allow for the ability to use these loadouts in tandem to create even greater damage. The team designed the combat system to be what players would want to get out of it, which means if you want to use abilities freely after cooldown, you can. If you want to strategize, take advantage of elemental vulnerabilities, and min-max your companions and Rook's abilities, you'll be able to do that too. Tactical combat doesn't have to be implemented in just one way. I know many of this is frustrating for those who were hoping for a return to BioWare's roots, and I get it, but at some point, you need to let that go. Sure, Baldur's Gate 3 showed those kinds of games are not only still relevant, but executed well can win awards and garner enjoyment from many gamers. But that style of game has always been what Larian, the developer of Baldur's Gate 3, has done, and always been what the Baldur's Gate series has seen. Dragon Age is not the same. There has been a different combat system for every single Dragon Age game, even a different art direction for all their games. Not to mention, many of the developers that worked at BioWare back when those games were made no longer even work there. I would prefer BioWare's games played like their very best titles, but I'm not going to allow my preference to stand in the way of creative freedom and vision for the developers who are there now. And those developers are attempting to make a quality game. That said, Corinne Bush, game director, said this: I think the first thing to keep in mind is that combat in the franchise has been an evolution. Every single entry reimagines what combat is like, and I would say our goal was to make sure we had a system that allowed players to feel like they actually were able to step into the world of Thetis. They're not a player observing from afar. They are inside of this world. Being this authentic world that's brought to life, the combat system needs to support that. So you are in control of every single action, every block, every dodge, every swing of your sword. Additionally, Mark Dara, a prior lead director who was brought back on as a consultant for the Veilguard, says, "What I see in Veilguard is a game that finally bridges the gap. Uncharitably, previous Dragon Age games got to the realm of combat wasn't too bad. In this game, the combat's actually fun, but it does keep that thread that's always been there." So like I said, I get the disappointment, but might I suggest actually giving the game a shot before you completely write it off. In regards to abilities and skill trees, each class has 3 specializations, each with their own unique ultimates. Within your skill tree, the large circle is your class, diamonds are abilities, and medium circles are major passives and ability upgrades. Small hexagons are traits, and small circles are minor passives / stat boosts. Passive abilities unlock jump attacks and guarantee critical hit opportunities. In the display screenshot, this is a Mage Rook at level 30, which is prominently displaying an acquired ability for crowd control called Wall of Fire. In the next screenshot, we see the skill tree appears to be very deep, with that ability seeming to be a small part of the control area. But this level 30 Rook has been built more towards the Death Caller specialization, with skills in control, sustain, and a little into the Spell Blade specialization as well. The max level is 50, by the way. This Warrior Rook skill tree shows another level 30 build specializing in Slayer, but showing other focuses in weapons, champion specialization, and survival. The Rogue Rook skill tree showed a build towards the Saboteur specialization, control, and dabbling in the other specializations. Something I found interesting is the path the unlocked abilities took. It starts with control, then branches out into other areas, which tells me that as long as an ability is connected to another within this structure, there isn't anything holding the player back from exploring those abilities. But what were your thoughts on this new information on the Dragon Age Veilguard? Let me know in the comment section below. And hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more Dragon Age content in the future. Peace.